Okay, so step number 6, fitting the front angle struts. So this is probably the longest and the trickiest part to do for the whole build. So what we have is, again, if you grab your screws out for step number 6, and within the bag of screws and in your bag of tools, we supply you with a 8mm ratchet ring spanner. We also have a 100mm square drive screw, a 75mm one as well, so a slightly shorter one, and then you also have a Tech screw which fits nicely into our ring spanner. We'll go through how we do that. With the orientation of the garden, it's quite important. We've got along the roof, we've labelled A, B, C and D, and again working from that sort of left to right. And on your angle struts, on this garden there's 4 of them, we have labelled these A, B, C and D. So simply match them up along the garden. The 2 outer ends, which is A and D, are slightly different. They've got an extra bracket at the top, and we actually put just for ease of transport and just to protect it, we put a block of timber in there just to protect that bracket for you, so you can pull that out. And also on this particular strut, you've got a side door latch, which we use later on. They have a bracket both top and bottom, and this is only for the strut A and D on this garden. So first up, start at either end, it doesn't matter what end, but we're going to start with A. You bring that up, and the letter A here goes against letter A at the roof. Okay, once you've got it sitting there, there's quite a series of screws that you need to put in, and we've got a little bit of a specific order, or we think that's a good order to do just to help with the alignment of this. So the first thing you want to do is grab your a handful of the Tech screws out, and if your helper's here, or you've got someone helping you to do this, what you simply need to do is bring the strut so that the front edge is flush with the canopy base, and the outside edge of the strut is also flush as well. And then just have it resting up the top here. And what you're looking for is the bracket on the bottom and the top has got some pre-drilled holes, so you want to align those correctly. And get a Tech screw into at least one of the holes. Now these ring spanners we supply have got a ratchet system in them. You will get part way down where you may need to flick that ring spanner over to get these Tech screws into place. Right, once you've got one Tech screw in the bottom bracket, you need to align the holes with the top bracket. So with your person helping you, you can actually manipulate the canopy back and forward just to align those holes, just ever so gently. And it doesn't matter whether you do the top or the bottom, but you just want to get that first screw in there. And I do find just putting a little bit of pressure on the back of the ring spanner helps. And then you can just spin that around. To get that in. So once you've got a Tech screw in the bottom and the top, you can go and put the other ones in. Now we've supplied you with that ring spanner to do this, but if you happen to have some tools and you've got a socket that'll fit for these particular Tech screws, by all means use it. It does make life a bit faster and a bit quicker. So I'm going to go through and do that now. And again, either using this or the ring spanner, you want to put the second screw into each bracket, both top and bottom, like so. Once you've done that, with the square drive we've supplied you, you can grab your 100mm square drive screw and start to feed that into the base of the front angle strut and drive that down and in. And then you will also put another 2 screws into this front strut. So the first one is a 100mm square drive again, and in the back of the vertical support there is a screw that's going to go up. So once you got that in there, just you can drive that screw through, and then the 75mm square drive screw, that's simply going to now go through the front at the top of the angle strut, like so. Once you've got those into place, you need some more Tech screws to screw off the last of the brackets. And there's the bigger bracket here, which we spoke about earlier. Okay, so with the top bracket, there's 3 Tech screws to go in there. So there are pre-drilled holes for this. There's one at the bottom, or sorry, should I say 2 at the bottom of the bracket. And I do find that if you put your thumb or a bit of pressure on the back of the ring spanner that we've supplied as you wind that in, makes it a lot easier, like so. And then the second hole across on the bottom, pre-drilled hole. Now these screws may go in on a slight angle, don't be too concerned about that. Just wind them in until they pull up snug and tight. Don't over tighten them. Now the third screw, and this is the whole reason we actually have the ring spanner, is the third screw is going to be in the middle and the second hole up, and you should, if you look, see a pre-drilled hole there. So I do tend to fit it into the ring spanner first up on the angle, and then just simply get that started. And with a bit of pressure on it, that'll bite. And for this strut, 2 more Tech screws required. Bracket here at the bottom. 2 pre-drilled holes that are going to align with the top holes on the bracket. And if you feed them through, again, they might be on a slight angle. Don't be too concerned about that. bit of pressure on the back of the ring spanner and feed both of those in like so. And they're all the screws that you're going to put in for the end of the front angle support. Now there are quite a few screws in each of these, especially the ones at the end, but the reason for that is, especially if you've ordered the garden with the gas struts, is that we're trying to obviously lock these well into place so they don't pivot during the operation of the main doors. Once you've done one end of the garden, you need to do the exact same process for the other end of the garden, which I'll go through and do now. Right, so what we're going to do now is fit, now that the two end ones are done, you want to fit your two middle ones. So again, just remember we've labelled them B and C, which will match at the top of your garden. There's a number of holes along here, so you don't want to get that mixed up. But effectively, on this bracket, on the strut, you've got 2 brackets at the top and 2 brackets at the bottom. Now if you put C against C, you'll be off to a good start, and you want to align the 4 holes, 2 for each bracket, at both the bottom and also at the top. Now they won't align perfectly to start with, but we'll just get them close enough. Now again, using your ring spanner, or if you have a drive or something, another tool to put these in, that's no problem. But just drive in 1 at the bottom, and then come up to the top while you can still manipulate the strut and put in 1 at the top. Now you can pull the canopy back and forward a little bit, and you can also pull the roof up and down a fraction just to align those holes so you can get the screw in. Once you've done that, I recommend putting simply just a screw or 1 screw in each bracket. So I'm just doing the other side now. And then once you've done that, go and fit the other screws into each bracket. Like so. So we've put 2, 4, 6, 8 Tech screws in. There's a couple more screws to, or actually 3 more screws to put into each strut. So the first one is the 100mm square drive. So if I grab my square drive that was been supplied, and you want the 100mm or the longer one down through the front of the strut. Now when we put the Tech screws in, the front of the strut should now be flush with the front of your canopy base. And if you do that, that should line up and go through a pre-drilled hole in there for you. The other screw we're going to put in is up the top, again just like the end struts. It's a 75mm screw through the front face, and the other one is a tad tricky, but you get inside the garden. So up in the back, in line with the strut, is again a pre-drilled hole for a 100mm screw to go through. So if you line that up, that goes into the back and pulls that all together. And that is all the screws required for one of the middle struts on the garden. So I'll go through now and do exactly that same process for the fourth or the last strut, which in this case is strut number B, or letter B should I say. And that is the completion of step 6, fitting of the front angle struts.